I got a confession to make. That's not a pun. I just realized. When I was 12 years old, I bought a bootleg cassette of Nevermind, a Polish bootleg cassette.
Fucking pirate.
If you love music and you grew up in the 80s and 90s like me, or even before that, you probably bought CDs, cassettes, and vinyl, because there was no streaming. Hi, I'm Philip in London. I own a pretty nice physical music collection, but I also have the odd CD or cassette that's not entirely official, including a bootleg copy of Nirvana's iconic album Nevermind. So when I sat down with Foo Fighters frontman and former Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl, I finally had a confession to make. I finally got that off my chest. Here's what he said and how he thinks about bootlegs in his own time when he was growing up listening to music. This is the second part of my interview with Dave Grohl. This is Quotable.
My two favorite songs on that album so far are Unconditional and Child Actor, which I thought was a remarkable song. And I was wondering, was there a specific child actor or specific story that inspired you to that song? Or
You know, that song, there's the general, yes, but the tone, and that song is about validation.
yeah,
Is about searching for validation. Mm-hmm. And because you haven't found it within yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And I know actors, and I when I was maybe like 10 or 11 years old, I would do like a school performance or a school play, and it was never my intention or ambition to become a fucking actor, like ever. But I do think it's this weird thing of, it's the question of validation, like how do you feel? What makes you feel fulfilled, or what makes you feel good about yourself, or rather than searching for some sort of surface validation of wondering like, God, am I good enough? You know, was that good enough? Am I good? There are people that really get sort of trapped in that way of thinking, and but there is something about there's the curse of the child actor. I mean, there aren't too many like happy endings when it comes to that, because you know, your formative years, you're just depending on other people's approval for some sort of validation. And so it's best just to like turn the cameras off and just be the person that you actually are. It's funny, you're the first person to really mention that song.
yeah.
And that was written like 4 weeks ago, I don't know, 5 weeks
That's
ago.
great.
It was the last one.
I don't know why, but it
Yeah,
immediately resonated.
I'm glad you
with
like
me.
it.
You must be aware of being extremely popular. Some people say you're the nicest guy in rock. What comes with it for you? Do you feel a responsibility? Do you feel a pressure, since we're just talking about self-validation, all of that? Do you feel a pressure to fulfill certain expectations?
No. I mean, I think before I did, but it was more like I need to be productive. Mm-hmm. Like I need to continue, I need to make records, I need to be constantly like working and doing things. I need to make a documentary. I need to do a documentary series. We need to go on tour. I did feel this responsibility in that. But I think that comes from, I didn't feel the responsibility to be kind to people. I always just tried to be kind to people as much as I could, you know. My mother was this amazing, she was a public school teacher. She was a brilliant, kind, generous, altruistic, amazing person. And so I always kind of, you know, I always looked up to her because she was such an incredible person. But then over time, it's like I finally got to a place where I thought, you know, I don't give a fuck what other people think. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I certainly never called myself the nicest guy in rock, you know. Obviously. I always thought like, well, that's the guy from Coldplay or something, you know what I mean? So, but over time, it's like, you know, the most important thing to me is that my life within a 30-foot radius is sort of the most important thing. So I really had to shut off that other part of me where I'm like, it's funny to me, and it always was funny when people would say that. Yeah. And I guess it's flattering to some extent, but I was like, I don't fucking care. So.
I got a confession to make. That's not a pun. I just realized when I was 12 years old, I bought a bootleg cassette of Nevermind, a Polish bootleg cassette.
Fucking pirate.
And the reason I'm asking is I was wondering, you being a music fan yourself,
Yeah.
did you ever, I bought the CD since, by the way, did you ever do that in your early days? Is
Oh,
that stuff where you
1000%.
feel now from a musician side,
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't appreciate it.
Well, so back like in the olden days, like in the early 80s of like underground punk rock shit, in Washington, D.C., there were so many bands in Washington, D.C. that were fucking amazing. And so we grew up watching these shows, these amazing bands in clubs. Bands like Scream and Embrace and Rites of Spring and Fugazi and things like that. And in the local scene, those tapes would just make their way around. So like a band Rites of Spring, they were a legendary DC punk rock band. Everybody had the record 5 months before the record came out. So the record hadn't even come out, and a club would be packed with everyone singing every lyric to every song. And that's what mattered most. And you know, I've had this conversation with Ian MacKaye once about exactly that. And he goes, you know, if I had to choose between having $1 and having someone sing my song, I would pick having someone sing my song. And so that was always the great intention, was to make a song that everyone would sing. And you know, that being said, it's like, okay, well then you make a record and you want to like sell it and people buy it and things like that. But that's very old school of you to like dub the cassette. That was the funniest thing, is back then when cassettes became popular. I mean, this is in the 70s or whatever, early 80s. The record labels were so scared. Cassettes were the Napster of the late 70s and early 80s. And there were these bumper stickers that were going around that said,
Home taping is killing music.
yes, home taping is killing the music industry. And then we started seeing these bumper stickers that said, home fucking is killing the prostitution industry. And like everyone was making their different bumper stickers. But yes, that was like, it was the same thing, just a different like archaic method of technology. But at the same time, it's like, I hope that our songs get on the radio so people can just turn their car on and hear it and then come to the show and sing along.
So here's my last question,
Yes.
because when you announced the tour, you released this hilarious AI video. And we don't want to go too much into detail because we don't have the time, but
Right.
generally, do you think AI is threatening to rock music in particular?
Not mine. No, I think what we do is we walk on stage and we look like greasy and sweaty and yucky and gross. And then we fucking scream raw like human beings for 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I don't think that anything will ever replicate the energy of being in a room with other human beings, watching other human beings. You know, I think that, you know, technology will try, but like, it's the difference. And the very few times that the guys from Nirvana have gotten together to play Nirvana songs, it's like, listen to the CD or that fucking tape that you pirated, listen to that, and then come into a room this big and stand there and watch us do it, like right in front of your face. There's nothing that will replicate that. It just won't. And the same thing can be said for most of the rock bands out there. That, yeah, it's fucked that you could just create a song out of nothing for no reason and, you know, make someone pay for it. I don't believe in that. I think it's bullshit. I think you should go fucking stand in front of a rock band and feel what it feels like when it hits you in the chest. And smell it and fucking just feel it all over you. That's not something you can create in a computer.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot.
So there you have it. Even Dave Grohl listened to bootlegs. It was good to get that off my chest. And the new Foo Fighters record, Your Favorite Toy, is out now. You can listen to it on vinyl, CD, cassette, or even streaming. And then afterwards, let me know in the comments which are your favorite songs. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And there's plenty of more where this came from, so don't forget to subscribe. It's quotable.